I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer in 1989 when I was 51. It must have been before my first treatment that my oncologist told me that there was a new clinical trial. It would be something I might want to consider. I really saw it as being a positive opportunity.
Why Ontario for clinical trials?
High-quality research, high-quality researchers, high-quality institutions, speed of approval, and ultimately a commitment to deliver, which has 100% success record over my 15 years here in Canada.
World-leading companies have chosen Ontario for clinical trials. Why? Ontario is Canada's most populous province and one of the most culturally diverse places in the world. It's the third largest biomedical research cluster in North America and home to the majority of Canada's pharmaceutical R&D. Ontario is host to thousands of clinical trials. It has a thriving independent clinical research community, including top CROs. 44 universities and colleges produce highly skilled talent. Since 2003, the Government of Ontario has invested more than $3.8 billion in research and innovation, continuing Ontario's tradition of discovery. Our hospitals, research institutes, and talent are world-class.
We look at jurisdictions everywhere in the world. We look for outstanding investigators who have a track record of producing great data quickly. Ontario has been one of the top performers in a number of our trials.
There's fantastic talent across the province. We invest in that talent. Anywhere you go in Ontario, I think you've got the highest quality of talent to draw from.
As investigators, we're extremely well trained in epidemiology, and the scientific rigor of our trials is what sets us apart and earns us the respect of the world.
We have very sophisticated research institutes. We have incredible collaborations and collaborative enterprises. And we have a number of disease-based institutes that are focused on some of the most exciting research in the world today.
Ontario is home to many organizations that support a culture of innovation, all part of the province's focus on moving healthcare forward quickly.
We have a number of epidemiologic agencies, and Marsa Excite is an example of that. Their focus is on increasing the rapidity of developing the appropriate set of evidence to gain reimbursement within Ontario.
This is an exciting time to do clinical trials in Ontario because it is such a collaborative environment. Our researchers, our institutions, our sponsors, our research ethics boards are all focused on doing things better in Ontario.
Canada's publicly funded healthcare system is a huge advantage for clinical trials.
Because our population has chosen a one-payer system for healthcare, it is much easier to do clinical trials. You can essentially track the patients through the entire system and better report all outcomes for every intervention that you do in a clinical trial.
The Canadians to the Americans, for example, the major advantage that we have is that we tend to enroll patients at a much faster rate and include a more varied type of patient. Patients from different ethnic groups, different socioeconomic groups because of our single-payer system.
In Canada, you can get regulatory approval to start a clinical trial within 30 days for all Phase 1 to Phase 3 trials. And now, Ontario has something new to offer.
The CTO Streamlined Research Ethics Review System supports any single qualified research ethics review board in Ontario to review and approve a multi-center clinical trial for sites across the province.
This means that a trial with, say, 10 participating sites doesn't have to go through 10 separate research ethics reviews on the same proposal.
This will significantly cut down on the time, cost, and effort required to get trials started across the province.
KPMG Competitive Alternative Study showed that the cost for doing business in Ontario are very competitive on a North American context, particularly against major US cities. Specifically in Ontario, there are two credits. There's a federal credit of 15% for eligible costs for clinical research, and it has an additional 4.5% credit for eligible costs for clinical research done in Ontario. One thing that stands out in the tax incentives is the ease in which companies can get at them. They are paid on the first dollar spent. On a global scale, it's second to none probably in terms of ease of doing business.
Scientific talent that we have in Ontario is unprecedented.
Ontario offers fantastic scientists who work in a collaborative fashion.
The province of Ontario is open for business.
World class, right here, right now.
My last 25 years have been wonderful. I've seen my daughter married. I've seen 6 grandchildren come along. I've traveled. I've just enjoyed my life.
Ontario has the people, the resources, and the environment to test promising innovations. We're ready to host your next clinical trial.